It's November 26th, and the deer season here in Louisiana has been open since October 4th. A lot of folks have passed through here hunting, and we've all had a really good time and taken some great bucks. Like this 170-inch 6-point with a drop tine that my buddy took. Isn't that incredible? What an amazing deer, and what a unique trophy. That's not the only buck that we took off the farm. We saw some great deer, and of course I was able to get a great deer myself. You'll see him later in the video. But I've also spent a lot of time, as well as the other hunters that come here with us, running around with video cameras trying to capture some of the bucks that we don't shoot on video. It's catch and release deer hunting at its best. I'd like to share those with you. Here's kind of the way the season goes here on the farm. We plant this food plot, like this one right here. This field is planted in wheat, crimson clover, and Berseem clover, along with radishes and turnips and that sort of thing. And when we first plant them, the deer pile in. We planted it late September. And yeah, by mid-October, the deer are coming in here and feeding pretty aggressively. The does and fawns, and of course, that brings the bucks in, and you know what happens there. So most of the deer we shoot out of these fields where we can really look at them and assess their age as well as their antler qualities, and it's very valuable in that respect. But here in Louisiana, by late November, getting towards Thanksgiving, the rut's pretty much over. There's a little activity left still, but not much. In the meantime, we've had a pretty robust acorn crop back in the woods, so the deer utilization in these fields starts to diminish some. The rut's over, and more of the activity is back in the woods, making the deer harder to find, harder to video. So it's kind of a lull period here on the farm. But that'll change in these fields fairly shortly. What's going to happen with harder winter weather, and as the acorns start to thin out some, the deer will start coming back into the fields, and this will become a major source of nutrition for the deer mid to late winter, whenever the hard weather hits, all the way into, in this particular field, June. So it will be a great source of carbohydrates as well as protein and nutrients for the deer. And I can't say enough about that. The deer we grow on the farm, it's nutrition. Certainly age has its place, but nutrition is something easily controlled, and I cannot say enough, as always, about how valuable nutrition is in maximizing the genetic potential of your deer. That said then, now let's go take a look at the bucks that we found so far. I hope you enjoy this film. You'll also notice there's a lot of whispering going on in the films, and I'm sure you can appreciate that if you're out in the field with a camera and you got a buck out in front of you, you got to be kind of quiet. So appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy this film. There's one rattled up. Not the one I'm looking for, but it's always fun. Let's see if he'll look around and find somebody else for me. 2019 hunting season in Louisiana. What fun. Yep, straight up wind. Thought they always came downwind. Maybe not. The rut on the farm is an intense affair, with a very tight buck-doe ratio and lots of mature bucks 4 years old and older. It's quite a sight to see. It generally happens around Halloween, and that's about the only time of the year you're going to find bucks like this standing in the middle of the field, staring at you in mid-afternoon. But what a fun time it is. Really nice 9-point. Wind's wrong. I don't think I'll get any closer. Smelling me. Rattle that one up. Kind of cool, isn't it? Very cool. As you see, we do lots of rattling here on the farm. Like this buck right here we rattled up, and you'll see several more. What you won't see is that another buck snuck in and the lucky hunter was able to take him, as this one gave his location away.
So what do you think about rattling on the Baker farm?
I tell you what, they were very intent on finding what was making that rattling noise. And finally this guy stepped out. The young one, I think, lured this guy. Chocolate horn, Louisiana buck. It's beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thanks Rusty. Thanks for all you did for me, I appreciate it.
He may just be a youngster, but he is already dreaming big. You gotta admire that. This is the age class buck that we find a lot of mortality with. These 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds are trying to fight their way into the breeding pool, and it's pretty rough on them. They split their hooves, they get gouge marks, they are active 24/7, making scrapes, running, chasing. And it's rough on them. We find a lot of these dead in the woods. It's a tough country out there. He'll do just fine as long as he's the only buck in the field. Now this buck was trotting down the road and came across the scent of a doe that had walked across the road from the right to the left and went into the woods probably 30-45 minutes earlier. Well, when he came down the road and he came across the scent, it was like a bird dog on the scent of quail. You can see him in action here, and he finally found the scent, and forget everything else, I'm going to go find that doe. Rattling is such a fun way to hunt. It really works terrifically when you have a tight buck-doe ratio. I think we're probably 1-to-1 here on the farm, although that's impossible to be precise with. We also have a significant portion of the herd that's 4 years old or older. So if you take the couple of weeks before the peak of the breeding season and you get in, if you have a chilly day, it can be just dynamic. At this particular location, I think I rattled up 8 different bucks. They all started coming in and were milling around. They wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to find out what was going on. They're looking at me. That deer right there can't be more than 20-25 yards away. He knows there's not a buck fight there. I'll grunt at them occasionally, but they're not sure what's going on. They've been fooled, and they're so desperate to find something that they just don't want to leave. It's, again, a very exciting way to hunt. And what a beautiful buck this is. 4-year-old 10-point, probably 170 inches, or certainly scaring it right there. And then you can see the other buck starting to pass through. An extraordinarily exciting way to spend the afternoon. This particular location is an oak bottom. A lot of willow oaks up in there, and I can actually see a little bit. It floods during the spring frequently, so visibility is a little better in there, just making a perfect spot to go rattling. It's our favorite way to hunt here on the farm. To go rattling is really quite easy. I'm simply sitting beside an oak tree with my rattling horns, going through my sequence. I grunt a little bit, and here come the deer. That only works, again, with the right ratio, but when it works, it's fun. Now here's a different morning in a different location, and how beautiful is that? Sun shining on this deer, smoke coming out of his mouth. He just dragged a spider web with him. He knows something's going on, and again, he's on top of me. How beautiful is that? Now that deer's a little older. I figure he's a 5-year-old, possibly 6. Great looking 9-point. And candidly, that's the only time that we've seen him all season long, right there, rattled up in the oak forest. My cousin took this video and was super excited about it, and it's easy to see why. What a fantastic 8-point. He actually may be 170 inches, or certainly very close to it. Tremendous tine length, great frame with very long main beams, and extraordinary mass for an 8-point. Terrific deer in every way. And he's either 5 or 6, we're not sure which, but one thing's for sure. He's starting to get into the danger zone and will attract an awful lot of attention. Now, let's go rattling again. One more time. I'm up in the same oak flat a little further away. And I got this buck to come in. And you can see how the grunt call has him all jiggered up. Beautiful buck, fun scene. This is what makes hunting the farm the extraordinary experience that it is. He never quite came in. He loitered out in the distance some, but it was fun to watch. Every now and then magic happens. My farm manager was driving around during the peak of the rut one day and spotted this buck on a doe and from the window of his truck. How lucky is that? And what a terrific old bruiser it is. I have a buddy that's dream is to kill a deer with a drop tine, and you'll notice on the left side this deer's got a fantastic drop tine. It starts in there by the G1 or the brow tine, curls around and comes down, must be 7, 8, maybe 9 inches long altogether. So I called my buddy, got him in, and we've hunted this deer several times, but once again, this was the only time this buck was seen all season. There on a hot doe, after that, never to be seen again. It's late October, and I'm hunting one of my favorite blinds on the entire farm when this bad boy walks out. And what an exciting buck he is. He's a 5-year-old that we've been watching for 3 years. And what a terrific buck he is. A giant 10-point. He's got it all. Long main beams, probably over 25 inches. Terrific width, terrific mass, and great time length, obviously. So what does it take to grow bucks like this? Obviously age, but it takes more than age. These deer need to be on an extremely high nutritional plane 365 days a year. This particular field, for example, is planted in wheat, radishes, turnips, Durana clover, and red clover. So that nearly gives them year-round grazing opportunities. But not far away from where we are right here was a large summer food plot planted in peas, beans, sun hemp, and all kinds of goodies. To the north, less than a quarter of a mile away, is about a 5-acre joint vetch field. It all adds up to providing nutrition 365 days a year. Now granted, when the acorns fall, the deer will spend a lot of time on the acorns. Or in spring green-up, they may spend time on the more native forages that are available. But always the food plots are available. And always, year-round, the deer will spend a little time in them if they don't spend a lot of time in them. Because certainly, after the acorns have faded out, in come the deer to the fields, and there's a lush food plot system available for them to see to it that they're healthy year-round. Now back to this buck. He's come into this field looking for does. He spots this little guy, and he comes over to pay a visit to him. Now the little guy's thinking, maybe someday I might grow up and be like you. But for right now, I just admire who you are, and I'm going to give you full access to whatever you want. There happens to be a little bit of corn right there. We had a trail camera running, and the two are going to share some corn, get to know each other a little bit, and overall enjoy the moment. I think if you ever had the opportunity to hunt this particular field, you should take advantage of it, because it might be one of the best fields in all the country to have an extremely exciting afternoon in.
How handsome is that?
So again, I'm up in a blind when this guy came trolling through, sniffing for does. He's not interested in eating. He's walking and sniffing, hoping to find something. And when right about here, light and variable winds. Uh-oh.
How handsome is that? I think he just caught my scent. We'll see what he's going to do.
What a picturesque pose. This is the stuff an awful lot of hunters dream about. Beautiful buck, beautiful setting.
That's the stuff for a magazine cover right there. So what's his score? What's his age? I'm going to go with 5.
So you can hear me wondering in the blind there, what his age is, what his antler score is. Or what do you think?
He's not happy with me right now.
Tell you what I think. I think he's a 5-year-old, and I think that he scores mid to upper 170s. He's broken a point off of his left side where he had a common base 2-3, so he's actually a 12 point. He's just broken one of the points off. Beautiful buck in every way.
Can't hardly get more handsome than that, can you?
My buddy that shot the 6 point with the drop tine that you saw in the beginning of this film is taking this video right here. This is the day that he harvested the buck, and the idea was for him to get some video of the 6 point coming out and a successful hunt. And you can see he's doing a great job. He's got good video of the 10 point deer starting to wander into the field. He's calm, he's collected, and he's doing a good job. And then this buck walks out, which is the biggest deer on the farm. He's probably 210, maybe 215 inches, and still he's doing a good job. But I got to tell you, shortly hereafter, the 6 point walks out, and that is the end of the video. He lost all composure, rifle up, bang. But congratulations anyway.
All right, today is November the 10th, and here I am. I just got my first buck. He came out a little too far, and me and my husband waited, and he came on in, and I got a good shot at him. Thank you, Rusty, so much for this opportunity.
Perfect. Perfect. How far was he when you shot him?
He was about 60 yards.
60 yards?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, have you killed a deer before?
I've killed deer. This is my first buck.
Well, that's cool. Congratulations.
And he's a nice one. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, hell yeah.